Procedurally generated, permanent death, roguelikes allow their unique mechanics to be incorporated into any genre, resulting in a sea of diverse games with infinite possibilities. And with new unique roguelikes being released every single day, I like to play and analyze the ones that may not have had the chance to shine yet. If that sounds interesting, welcome to the series where we learn what works, what doesn't, and why, all in search to find the next big roguelike.
SCHROTT, I think that's how you say it. This seems to be some sort of fast-paced driving roguelite. Now, I actually don't think I've really played that many driving roguelikes, but also this really does give me Haste vibes, which I did cover Haste, and I thought Haste was a pretty unique roguelike, all things considered, but it was like the only one of its kind that I could think of, a little temple run roguelike, and hey, bring cars into it. That makes a lot of sense. I will say Haste had very enjoyable gameplay-wise, but I thought there was a lot that could have been improved upon it. So that's why I'm kind of curious to see another take on this kind of gameplay for a roguelike with, you know, the option to upgrade your car and have certain abilities and everything. Sounds really cool. So let's go check this out. Oh, okay, and we're just jumping right into it. All right, steer wheel, got it. Okay, so before, I forgot to mention in the intro, this is a demo. The game is not out yet while recording. It will be out by the end of the year, I think. And also, I'm playing on controller. It told me to play on controller. Okay, so first off, I will say, this feels very smooth in terms of, I think I was supposed to do that so they could teach me how to recover health. They're very generous with the turning angle. So what do I have here? I haven't pressed any buttons so far other than just turning left and right, and I'm already just enjoying the feeling of it. I don't know why we're in slow motion. I love how the tutorial is just, good luck. It's a car. You know how to drive a car. Okay, so now we can buy stuff. I have 5,640 of the currency? That seems like a big number without much context yet. So I'm not too sure what fill juice is. Maybe it's just boost or just pure gas that you need to maintain. I did lose some health. Continue run to go. So what are the skills? Speed up your rig and let you crash obstacles. Are these one-time things? Shoot a ball that destroys obstacles? What about this? Crazy carrots. It just gives me more stats. It literally costs 3% of my currency, so I'll just buy that, I guess. Oh my gosh, it changes too. I love it. I'm gonna buy health, I guess? How much does it cost? 500. Why is it so much more expensive than the other stuff? I guess I'll wait. Okay, so let's take a look at my fuel light. Is it 49? Does it go down? I don't know if it goes down. Don't hit the wing. That's simple. I reached the end. Oh, it was a lap. Oh, we were actually doing laps? Interesting. Tutorial complete. We got an engine plus 30% skill efficiency. All right. And a sponsor mod. Noob support. Lovely. Dry speed is slightly increased. So are those just passives? Each selected mod reduces earned XP. Oh, wait. No, these are just things you put pre-run, I think. All right. Well, that was a tutorial. So once again, the steering feels great in this game. I'm wondering, like, what can I do to make my run better, right? Like, there are certain things that I can break that earn me money and certain things that I shouldn't hit. Let's go left. I like treasure chests, I guess. So I'm at 16, but I don't really know what that is. Cute little jump. The spikes were quite generous. And I changed my speed in any way. I got a rare back. That's cool. I like turtle stuff. I like that you get to actually choose your path. It's like a unique way to have like a path selection for a roguelike. So I didn't really earn much money, and I'm not too sure how to earn money. This time around, I don't have 5,000 gold. I did get a tiny turtle. Juice gain and skill efficiency. I still don't understand the juice mechanic. All right, let's just continue. Loot some more. Oh, it actually shows you that I'm going from one location to another. Whee! Okay, so don't hit the rocks, I think. What about the trees? Because I feel like there's certain thing I can hit that gives me money, right? Like this? Oh, so hitting this stuff gives me money. Most things give you money. You actually want to crash into certain things, but not everything. Like, okay, well, that was a good example. I like the music. Oh, we got a boost panel. Should be fine here, right? Nope, okay. I didn't even get to try out my jump thing. Rig destroyed. Round 2. So you just have to kind of get used to the timing of a lot of these obstacles. This very much does have the Haste vibe that I was expecting. It's one thing I'm realizing differently than Haste, that I am comparing it to Haste because that is the only game I could think of that is similar to that in that regard. Things are not speed-wise faster, but things go on your screen faster, and you do have to adjust to the speed of certain obstacles, for instance. Also, things are much more in your face. Like, having to crash onto things means I can't see things in front of me very clearly, which is interesting. So how do you know how close you are to the next location? I have the jump ability. I just don't know how I can use this jump ability. Oh my gosh, I think I finally figured it out. The green stuff is for my abilities, right? I can't use my abilities right now because it looks grayed out. Now I have 20, so I can use it. Let's just see how it feels. Okay, it's just a jump. There's a big risk versus reward factor here. Oh, let's go here since I have fuel for abilities. What is this? Boulder. So when we feel like we're going to get overwhelmed, we just boulder it up like this. Okay, that is cool. I am all in favor for boulder. It's exactly what I was expecting, and I'm very happy about it. I'm starting to finally get an idea of how things are going to look. Like, you really have to maintain your health. You want to be able to destroy obstacles because you're going to be encountering a lot of them. I'm very curious about the different biomes. I'm assuming that's going to be a thing. I do like seeing all the money getting spread out. It's satisfying. It does cover a lot of the screen, I will say, but... Ah! Oh my gosh, my boulder is massive. Should we just get some... yeah, let's go over there, actually. It took me a second to think about this. I like how you have to make a decision on your path while you're playing. I kind of almost wish that haste had that by default, so they would never, like, stop. Can I squeeze through here? Yes. I'm starting to get the hang of it. Are we into a new, new biome? Oh, yeah, that's a new biome. Oh, the music changes. Nice. Ah, I'm zooming through that. I love our little raccoon. Just like the car is just shaking so much. I love my boulder. Third biome? Oh, finish. There's a finish? Oh, I finished a run. Oh, I did not realize that it's just a loop. Interesting. That's what the demo has to offer. Very curious what they have planned in terms of content. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue playing, try to reach level 5, try to see the new mods, see if there's like a set bonus for getting all the carrot stuff, or we'll see. So I'll circle back in just a moment with my thoughts on the game. Okay, so I played a little bit more. We did complete another 2 runs. We unlocked all the pieces. We got to max level. We even tried the hard mode. I got a pretty good idea of what this game has to offer in this small demo, to be clear. Now, throughout this first impression review, I am going to be comparing this game quite a bit to Haste. And that's because, well, Haste is a fully released game, and I do think that it has a lot going for it, and they have very similar gameplay, and there's not many games out there that have this kind of gameplay. So let's start with audio visuals. Audio visuals are pretty straightforward. There's nothing too crazy unique about it, nothing bad. It's pretty enjoyable. It is quite satisfying visually when you destroy things. In this game, you're going to be destroying a lot of things. It's a lot more about destroying all the obstacles in your way, and when you get that boulder power up and you destroy things, everything in front of you, oh my gosh, that is extremely satisfying, and I love it. In terms of art style and everything, it's all right. I do find the character pretty cute. I'm assuming we're going to have more characters. I would hope so. That'd be cool. More customization in that regard. But I like the fact that you can customize your car, and visually it does change, which is nice. The music, actually very similar to Haste. I don't know if that's a coincidence. I guess it makes sense. It's just fast-paced. It was nice to see that when you get to the new biome, it does change to a new track, and it was cool. Gameplay is very, very basic. You just go left and right, and that's it. That's pretty much all there is to the gameplay. Once you get powers, you can actually activate the powers by pressing a button, but the gameplay is extremely simple. Now, on one end, I like the fact that it's simple because you're doing a lot visually with very minimal effort, and that's very satisfying. I do kind of wish you could have a tiny bit more control over speed. For me, the most satisfying part of Haste was the whole going up and down and controlling your velocity. That's really where you were able to get much better skill-wise by just being very comfortable with when to go down and when not to. And in this instance, this game is way less about jumping, which makes more sense because you're actually driving a car. Since you're driving left and right, you don't really want to be jumping because you don't have as much control over a car naturally. So I understand that, but I kind of wish there was just a little bit more to do while still keeping the gameplay simple, because clearly that is the goal. At least that's my first impression. Maybe controlling speed slightly, considering that there's some tight turns and everything. But I do appreciate that it's just easy to just pick up and just play. Now, in terms of the roguelike elements, they're interesting. In this regard, the roguelike elements are very simple and minimalistic. I do wish there were more actual roguelike portions in the game where we get, like passive effects, right? Because right now the only things you get from the roguelike portion is you get different abilities, which are just your actives, but there's only a certain amount of them, and once you get one, you just keep it. And then the car parts. Now the car parts, they just have different stats, so they're pretty basic, but also once you've gathered them and you win a run currently in this demo, then you can start with it. So they're not really a roguelike portion if you can then always start with whatever you want from the beginning of a run, and you don't want to replace the better one. So there doesn't really seem to be many roguelike elements. So I kind of wish there were just constant, relic effects. Like, oh, every time you're in the air, you're invulnerable. Or whenever you destroy something happens, or whenever you collect a fuel, you gain health. These kinds of passives, to me, are the coolest parts of most roguelikes, and in this instance, I didn't see any of them. Now, this is a roguelike that really does prioritize gameplay, but it also does make me feel like, well, it's not as much of a roguelike as it could be. In terms of the runs themselves, in the demo, you're just going through a loop, and in this loop, there are 2 biomes. Each biome, I like the fact that they look visually different and they have different obstacles with different music. And throughout the actual run, it's consistently gameplay, which I love. That was actually one of my complaints in Haste, was that there was constant stop in pacing from talking to NPCs randomly, going to a portal, having this long loading screen. Here, it's just non-stop going. You could theoretically start the run and finish it without pausing a single time or without having to stop physically. I like that a lot. Throughout the runs, you have to choose a path. That's cool. The different path, again, there's not much content right now, so there's not unique events or unique path that will bring to something really different. There's only path for more money, path for more fuel, path for going to the garage, path for just more loot. It's pretty straightforward. I hope they're going to add more unique paths you can pick, just to give a little bit more variety throughout the run. But one aspect that I really like is a garage. You can always choose when you want to go back to the garage, and that's when you can actually stop the pacing, and you can choose when to go and just take a breather. And I think that's really cool to be able to do that. Now, in the garage currently, there's not much to do. Again, it's fairly minimalistic. You can buy health, which is probably always going to be the priority. This demo feels a little unbalanced in the way where it's very easy to gain money, and health is very cheap and always stays cheap, even though it's easier to get more money later. So by the end, you can always be at full health like this and still be left with a lot of money. And again, you can just buy new car parts, but at least in this demo, I very quickly got all the parts. And once you're just comfortable with one that is epic, that you got at the very beginning of the run, you're not going to change anything. So you're not really going to be buying anything that's too exciting currently. So yeah, I hope that again in the garage, you can buy more passives, more things to do in the full release is my hope, but we'll have to see. All right, so now I'm just going to talk about some notes that I wrote down while I was playing the game. So the game currently says that it's a roguelite, which means that there's meta progression. And yeah, the more you play, the more you gain XP, and when you level up, you just unlock more mods. Now, mods is an interesting thing in video games, because a lot of times mods don't feel, at least in my eyes, like a core aspect of a game. Mods, to me, when I'm talking about mods, I'm talking about starting a new run, but with different modifiers within the run now. So for instance, in this game, it's you can add a 20% slower speed as a mod throughout the entire run, but you gain less XP. Or you could also do the opposite, like harder mods, but you gain more XP. These, to me, always feel like different game modes almost, right? So popular games that have these include I guess Risk of Rain is a good example. Risk of Rain, you can have a lot of these like I forgot how you call them in that game, but you can unlock these and you can just change whatever one you want to do. But to me, that doesn't feel like a core part of the main progression of a game. Does that make sense? So the fact that it seemed like the only thing you really unlocked through the meta progression were different mods, to me felt a little bit underwhelming in this demo, just because I was looking forward to more content that didn't feel like just different game modes, if that makes sense. Now, maybe I'm alone in that viewpoint. Maybe people love mods like these and they feel like actual progression, but that doesn't really feel that way for me. So I'm hoping that the meta progression can actually give you more things to play around with outside of mods, if that makes sense. And there's a lot of ways to do that, right? You could just have cosmetics just for simplicity. You could also unlock more abilities that you can find, unlock more car parts that you can find. If they do add more passive abilities you can find, or actual just, power. You just make your default character stronger, or actually different characters, all this stuff. So I hope that you can play around a little bit more with the meta progression. Tutorial was very simple, which again, in one end was really, really cool. Just like, there you go, left and right. Good luck. That's all it said. That's pretty much the entirety of the tutorial, which on one end, it's really cool to just be like, hey, it's a car. Just drive. What else do you expect? On the other, there were some things that I wish were explained that felt necessary to be explained. This is something I'm expecting the full release to have, but the fuel thing took me a very long time to understand. You have to kind of be close to an obstacle and then you gather fuel. It doesn't visually show that very clearly. I didn't even know what it was used for. It ends up being for abilities. So that could have been an easy thing to explain, as well as armor. There's an armor stat. I still don't know what it does, even after having pretty much completed the demo, because in this game, you take instances of damage. You don't take hit points damage, right? You don't take like 30 damage or 25 damage if you have more armor. Now, to me, it seems like you always take one instance of damage when you hit an obstacle. So I don't see the point of having armor or how it works, and I kind of wish that could be explained. So just a little bit of information without having to over-explain everything. Naturally, this is a simple game, right? But that's something that I think could be nice to have in the full release. So currently, the biggest struggle I faced in this demo was, while I loved the core gameplay, and I think that's obviously the most important aspect of the game, differently than Haste. In Haste, it's pretty much a straight line, and you always see very clearly what's ahead of you. So you can always plan ahead very clearly. In this game, not so much. There's a lot of turning, and I remember in my review of Haste, I was like, I kind of wish there were more like sections where you could turn as opposed to just always having a straight line. But I knew that's hard to design for Haste, because then it can be pretty dangerous in terms of not being able to see what comes ahead. And in this game, I do feel like that is a little bit of a concern to me, where sometimes when it goes up and down and then left and right, you can't see what's coming and you're gonna get hit by certain things. There are certain moments where I would go up a hill and I would get instantly hit by an obstacle. Now, credit where it's due, I do feel like the developers did a pretty good job making sure that when there was a turn, usually you still have enough time to see the next obstacle. But it's still like, whenever there's a turn, that's the most dangerous part. Or whenever you're up a hill and you're about to go down, those are the moments that are dangerous, where you just can't really see what's in front of you very clearly. And I think if there was a system where you could slow down just very slightly temporarily, that could actually help. I do know that's a major design change, and I don't expect this to be the case, but it is a little frustrating sometimes when I would actually just turn a corner and then I just immediately get hit, or I couldn't really see what was ahead because of the fact that I was hitting things. Now, that kind of goes into my next point, which is that as much as I love the whole concept of destroying things, and again, that is so satisfying. You just have to whack certain things to gain money. When you do that, the actual thing you destroy is still on screen, which is satisfying, but also genuinely blocks my view, which did make it pretty hard to evade what would come next a lot of times. Not to mention that I think the camera angle is quite low, and so when you do destroy something, it really goes into your face. I could see the camera being a little bit higher or like a little further away potentially. Not to mention that some of the car parts actually made my character higher and blocked more view. So just overall, visually, I do hope that they're gonna make it just a little bit easier to see what's coming and to not always have things in your face at all times when you're destroying stuff. But I don't want them to change their whole concept of destroying things because it is genuinely satisfying, and I think that really does help it stand out from haste in that regard. This is a small thing, but in games like these where you can choose car parts and you customize your car, I would like to be able to see my car whenever I want, and in the garage, you can't actually rotate the car. This is very small, but I would imagine they're going to add a lot of different car parts. I hope you're going to be able to rotate your car so you can be like, yeah, that's my car. In conclusion, SCHROTT, right? That's how you say it. Very enjoyable little demo. This is going to be one of those situations where since the demo is fairly limited in content, I really do hope that they are going to add more things outside of just more car parts and more abilities, but actually new content, so to say. One thing to me that I hope they're going to add passive abilities you get in a lot of roguelikes. I really do feel that a game like this could really benefit from it, so it's a little sad that I didn't see it in the demo. But if they really make the gameplay extremely satisfying and they really add a lot of different parts and new biomes and everything, then maybe you won't need it as much. But I am definitely curious to see what they have in store for a game like this, and there's not many games like these out there, and the fact that this is still taking a very similar approach, but with its own twist, being cars and all about destroying things and constantly on the road going. It sounds fun. So if you want to check out the demo, it is free to download. It's a fun, 1 to 2 hour experience. And I'll definitely look forward to checking out the full release when it comes out by the end of this year. Thank you once again for sending us this game. Really appreciate it. You can send your game if you're interested by filling up the form in the description below. And yeah, that's about it.